Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem, Racha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is The Great Transformation, which we're going to get into that word in a minute. And pretty much, I was watching this video earlier, The Black Awakening, Militant Demonic Super Soldiers. I would play some of it for you, but I don't know if they would give me a strike for copyright reasons, so I won't play it. I did put it in the description box for those that are interested. They could watch it. It's about a little less than 5 minutes long. Now, when it comes to the scriptures, this individual doesn't know the scriptures. He quotes some good scriptures, but they really don't help his, he doesn't have the proper understanding of them. Let's put it that way. One of the scriptures he quoted was 2 Thessalonians 2. I believe that's the 5th chapter. Only he who letteth will not let until he be taken out of the way. And the way he's saying it, because it's the Most High that's holding back these devils from being taken down until it's time for them to go down. But the way it's seeming that he's breaking it down is like there's someone manipulating it, outside of the Most High. He doesn't say, but what I got from it was he's saying somebody else is holding back until the time. He speaks about the Antichrist and all that. I believe he spoke about the so-called Antichrist. And he also quoted the book of Revelation 6:1, where it speaks about the white horse came to conquer. And he said, I forget what he said exactly, but that's dealing with Yahushai. And pretty much when you look up the word conquer, he said, I believe it was the word conquer, it goes into the word slaughter. The Greek word, if I'm not mistaken on the words that he quoted. And that's dealing with Yahushai coming to take down the militaries of the world. And pretty much he said that these guys are satanic, demonic super soldiers. He said they spoke like 5 different languages. He said, and the dude told him that there's many of us everywhere. So I was just meditating, dealing with brothers' current conditions, the ailments and things that, that we're going through. Like these devils seem like they're getting stronger technology-wise, and, they're getting puffed up, and it seems like the men of the Lord are pretty much breaking down. So that got me, to just meditating. It's like damn, we're gonna need, like, in other words, how are we, in our present condition, how are we gonna be able to withstand these things that are coming? And this, the Spirit pretty much put a precept into my head, which I read, which we're gonna read in here, which was comforting. Because being in the flesh, you think about certain things. It's a constant battle between the flesh and the spirit. So when that scripture came to mind, I went to it and read it. It was definitely a comfort, which we already know that the Lord is going to cause some type of intervention, divine intervention to happen, to help us in our present condition that we're in, to be able to deliver us from these devils. And this is why King David, in one of his prayers in the Psalms 60th chapter, he said, who shall deliver me from Edom? Who shall deliver me from the strong city, from Edom? Now, we know that wasn't talking about back then. That was a future prophecy, because King David, Joab, and the rest of them were kicking Esau's ass. King Amaziah and others were kicking Esau's ass. So we know it wasn't talking about back then. So he saw in the future, Esau coming into great power. And that's when he said, he asked the Lord, who shall deliver me from Esau? And that was dealing with end times, which we're living in right now. So what we're going to do is, first of all, like I said, you can watch this video on your own time. But just remember, it has bones in it. So if you don't think you're ready for it, don't watch it. The main point to take out, when you can listen to it, but when he starts going into the scriptures, just tune out. Just listen to the parts where he speaks about the so-called demonic super soldiers. So we're going to deal with the word transformation, because the name of this is the Great Transformation. And I was trying to get a title, and this is the title that eventually came. The Great Transformation. And once we read the definition, you'll understand why. It says a thorough or dramatic change in form or appearance. And pretty much this is what we're waiting for. We're waiting for spiritual powers. We're also waiting for a total change, which is our bodies being changed, just like Yahweh's body. This is why King David said, I will be glad when I awake with thy likeness. Because Yahweh said he's going to come traveling in his strength. He's not going to come and meet these devils as a man like he did 2,000 years ago. Like right now, we're as men, going through things that men go through. Daily afflictions, mental afflictions, physical afflictions, day-to-day things that, that pretty much everyone goes through. So when Yahweh comes back, he's not coming back in a broken down, feeble human body. He's coming back in total glory. So a transformation is a thorough or dramatic change in form or appearance. And that's what's going to happen. It's going to be our same spirits, but they're going to be changed. Our bodies are going to be changed into superhuman type bodies, to where these devils ain't going to be able to mess with it. So when we go to 2 Corinthians 4:16, it says, for which cause we faint not. For what? For the glorification of this gospel, so that Yahweh and Yahweh can be glorified. This is why we go through what we go through, the ridicules, the constant harassment from the scoffers, Esau, with his shenanigans, so on and so forth, just everything in general. The loss of everything, for the glorification of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, so that we can get a prize at the end, and that prize or that reward at the end being what? The deliverance, salvation. While others are scorching and burning, the elect of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai will be delivered. So it says, for which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish. See? Because when the deeper you get into this knowledge, sometimes the harder it gets. But the Spirit of the Lord gives us the minerals, so to speak, to be able to endure. So the outward man perisheth. Why? Because the Spirit of the Lord is high powered, and these bodies can't keep up, with that, that power. And that's why the body breaks down. Because what we're dealing with is supreme knowledge on the right-hand side, and these bodies are not built like that to be able to, house this great power and still be able to function, so to speak. All right? It says, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. So although the body's breaking down, the inner man is renewed day by day, because we're constantly growing spiritually. And that is a very key necessity in this truth, to grow spiritually, so that when the body's breaking down, when things are not going your way, when all hell breaks loose, whatever the case may be, mentally, you're prepared to handle these things. Although physically our bodies are breaking down, but mentally we're able to prepare. This is why it says that knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. Because the Lord already knew that these bodies are weak. This is why Yahweh said, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. See? And he said that right at the moment that he was the most, one of the times that he was the most vulnerable at, outside of being tempted by Satan for them 40 days. That was the hour of his temptation, and he was going through it. That's why he said, watch. He said, because the spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. So like it for a minute. So let's go to the main scripture. This is the main scripture that came to mind. Further down, you brothers already know in Isaiah 40. I'm going to read a couple of verses in the beginning and then jump around a little bit. This whole chapter is a beautiful chapter. It speaks about many great things. It also speaks about, John the Baptist, when he came 2,000 years ago, and he also came in this lifetime. But Isaiah 40:1, comfort ye, my people, say of your power. And these words that you read off of these pages, this is the comforter. This is why, it says that the things that were written aforetime were written for our learning, so that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. This is what gives us comfort. This is what gives us strength. This is what increases our faith. And the things that we go through in our daily lives helps to cement that faith and that belief. It says, speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem. Why? Because we've been going through hell. We've gone through hell and still going through hell. And the hell ain't done yet. It's coming. More is coming. But rest assured that the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua got our back. And cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished. Right. Her warfare is accomplished. So it's already in the bag. All we got to do is just reach the end, reach the finish line. Because everything is already there, prepared. The crowns are ready. Everything is ready. But our job is what? To get to the end. He that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. That her iniquity is pardoned. Right. And our iniquities have been pardoned through Yahushua. This is why we can't keep things according to the law. 100%. We do the best we can. But Yahushua is the ultimate deliverer. That's what his name means. He's the deliverer. He's the savior. Elder Apostle Gabar just did a lesson on that. For she hath received of the Lord's hand double for all her sins. So pretty much, even though we're still catching hell, going through what we're going through, on a level that we're going through it on, and it's because of our iniquities pretty much have been pardoned. The Lord has, given us, clemency, from the things that we've encountered and are going through, from our iniquities pretty much. All right. So when we go back and we jump down to I'm gonna jump around a little bit. The 7th verse. It says, the grass withereth, the flower fadeth, because the Spirit of the Lord bloweth upon it. Surely the people is grass. So we're very vulnerable. In these bodies, we're very vulnerable. We're like grass. When you really think about it, as complex as the body is, we're really still like grass, very fragile, because although the body, heals itself if you put the right things in it, the problem is that the world we live in is not a moral world. It's not a righteous world. So the things that are at our disposal are tainted. So even if you do all of the research and take all of the right stuff, our bodies are still breaking down, because everything around it, the stuff that we sit in, the stuff that we wear, what we, clean ourselves with, the stuff that we use in the house to clean, just smelling those or getting them on your hand. It's all part of the toxic poisons, Then imagine prior to us not even knowing, ingesting all these different poisons, the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, and even if you drink so-called alkaline water, how do you know it's really alkaline? How do you know it's not, water from the Ganges River out there in India? You don't know. We don't know. So this is why we just, pray to the Lord, to have mercy upon us. So it says, the grass withereth, the flower fadeth, but the word of our power shall stand forever. And this is what we stand upon. This is our stability. This is our hope. This is our faith. This is our belief that the Lord will make good on his word, because his name banks on his word. He's not going to break his word, not even for his great name's sake. That's why he said he puts his law or his word above his name, because he's not going to break his word, not even for his great name's sake. I'll just leave it at that. See, I told you they can't get through a lesson without speaking about, O Zion, that bringeth good tidings. Right, and the word Zion, from the word to Zion, means monument. And we are the monument of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. He has us engraved in the palm of his hands. Get thee up into the high mountain. What is the high mountain? The high mountain is Jerusalem. O Jerusalem, that bringest good tidings, lift up thy voice with strength. Lift it up, be not afraid. Say unto the cities of Judah, behold your power. This is your power. Sweet Jesus, that's their power. That's their God. That's their Savior. The God that they talk about is Satan. The God that they talk about is that Edomite. That's their God. But we're, through the Spirit, commanded to give Jake their power. The Most High Yahweh, his son Yahweh Shai. What they look like. So-called black men with woolly afros. Which the world would call kinky or nappy or whatever you want to call it. But be it as it may, that is what our power and the Son looks like. The angels look like that. So behold your power, or your God. Behold, the Lord power will come with strong hand. And his arm shall rule for him. His arm is dealing with who? Yahweh Shai. Because didn't he give Yahweh Shai everything? The only thing that's not in the possession or power of Yahweh Shai is the Most High himself, which proves that they're two separate entities. Behold, his reward is with him and his work before him. Right. His reward is what? To deliver the elect. And his work is what? To destroy the wicked, the other nations, and the wicked among our people. He shall feed his flock like a shepherd. He shall gather the lambs with his arm, just dealing with the chariots, and carry them in his bosom. Right. Just like when something happens, you have a mother and her children, or you have a mother and a baby, and something happens where the baby gets scared, or something happens that's a little fearful, and the mother grabs the child and puts it in her bosom. That's what Yahweh Shai is going to do for us. He's going to carry us in his bosom, which is what? The chariots. Because that gesture of putting someone at your bosom represents, that you're protecting them. And that's going to be our protection. It says, and shall gently lead those that are with young. Right. Even the women, the children, because I was meditating about this too. You have a lot of sisters that are waking up. That were some of those sisters that were following Yahweh Shai, which brothers have spoken about this before, and them same sisters are back now. So it says, who hath measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and meted out heaven with the span, and comprehended the dust of the earth in a measure, and weighed the mountains in scales and the hills in a balance. The only one that's done that is the Most High. Esau's trying to do it because he's trying to get the Most High to do away with us, but it's all in vain. You can't measure the heavens. You can't measure the earth. You can't measure the waters. It says, who have directed the Spirit of the Lord, or being his counselor have taught him, right? Because he has the final decision on everything. All right. All right, so I want to jump down to the 20th verse. You can read the rest of it. Have you not known? Have you not heard? Hath it not been told you from the beginning? Have you not understood from the foundations of the earth? It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth. Hold it now. Wait a minute. I thought the earth was flat. And the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers. Watch the scoffers jump out. See, look, man, They just sitting in the wings waiting for for something that for their cue. They like Honest Abe Honeycutt in the movie Bamboozled. He just sitting there waiting, to get up in there. So it says that stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in, because we're going to be doing space travel. We're going to actually be living on other planets. Right there. That's why Yahushua said, in my Father's house are many mansions. There I go to prepare a place for you. Something along those lines. That bringeth the princes to nothing. He maketh the judges of the earth as vanity. Why? Because the Lord is coming to take all of these leaders and these rulerships down. Yea, they shall not be planted. Yea, they shall not be sown. Why? Because the Lord is coming to uproot them. This is why he's going to be credited with the title of King of Kings and Lord of Lords. That's what all those crowns were about. Yea, their stock shall not take root in the earth, and he shall also blow upon them. They shall wither, and the whirlwind shall take them away as stubble. Because when the Lord comes back, he's coming back to take these devils down by way of the missiles and also by way of the chariots, which is that whirlwind, and that great wind that's coming, to take these devils out. And this is our hope. And we see everything, all the cards, being set up in place, and everything going according to plan, according to prophecy, as the Lord said would happen prior to him coming to the earth. And this brings comfort to us. It says, to whom then will you liken me, or shall I be equal, saith the Holy One? Right. You can't liken the Most High to anyone. Why? Matter of fact, let's go real quick. Let's go real quick to Isaiah 48. Because to liken anything to the Most High, that means that you're trying to transfer the Most High's power and his name, I am, he to be, he exists, to something else, to either someone else, some other spirit, or some form of idol. And that's impossible. Isaiah 48:11, for mine own sake, even for mine own sake will I do it. For how should my name be polluted? And I will not give my glory unto another. So the name of Yahweh, his name, his great name, is not going to be transferred to anyone else, to anything else. Because the Lord said he's not going to pollute his name. And I will not give my glory unto another. See? This is why it's important to know those names, to exalt those names, to teach those names, to break those names down, to constantly keep those names in meditation, rotation out there while we're speaking. If anyone knows anything about Great Millstone, that's the beginning part of the salutation, is giving all praises to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai B'Hashem Rachah Kodash, which the Rachah Kodash, or the Holy Spirit, is also very important. So the Lord said, I will not give my glory unto another, because you have a certain group. See, I knew it. If you watch long enough, you'll see it. I'm telling you. Oh, man. Salakia. Just had a little dove moment there. This is Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 16. Thus, in process of time, an ungodly custom grown strong was kept as a law, and graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about the worshiping of idols, correct? Khan, whom men could not honor in presence, because they dwelt far off. They took the counterfeit of his visage from far, and made an express image of a king whom they honored, to the end that by this their forwardness they might flatter him that was absent, as if he were present, meaning the worshiping of idols, worshiping of men. Also, the singular diligence of the artificer did help to set forward the ignorant to more superstition, right? Because he was able to carve out an image of the likeness of whatever they wanted, because he was skilled that way. It says, for he, peradventure, willing to please one in authority, forced all his skill to make the resemblance of the best fashion. And so the multitude of the Lord, by the grace of the work, took him now for a god, which a little before was but honored. Right, so they were trying to do what? Take away the shine from the Most High. Because when you read the chapter prior to this, it speaks about ignorant of all men that are miserable of all men that are ignorant of the Most High's righteousness. It says, and this was an occasion to deceive the world. Idol worship, man worship. For men serving either calamity or tyranny, right? Whether they were in a jam, catching hell, praying to this stock, to this stone, or tyranny, meaning under the rulership of a tyrannical king, like Yum Yum. I'm not saying Yum Yum per se, but somebody with the tyrannical spirit like Yum, inside joke, did ascribe unto stones and stocks, idols, the incommunicable name. This does not mean that the Most High's name cannot be uttered. This is what that particular group tries to say. It means that the Most High's name cannot be transferred unto stones or stocks. Like he said, I will not give my glory to another. I will not give my glory to another. Now, when we look up the word ascribed, right? Attribute something to a cause. Right. Saying, oh, this stock or this stone, this is what did all of this work. In other words, giving the honor and the credit to idols instead of to the Most High. Then when we look up the word incommunicable, or no, matter of fact, it says here, attribute something to a cause, right? The word attribute regards something as being caused by someone or something. So in other words, giving the credit to these idols as being the Most High. So the Most High's name cannot be transferred to anything else. Circled like a ball. I knew somebody was gonna jump on that. Incommunicable, not able to be communicated to others. Now, it's not talking about you can't speak it, means you can't transfer it to someone else. Let's go to the word, to the incommunicabilis, because incommunicabilis is the Latin way of saying it. Matter of fact, when we go here to Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 21, this is the Latin, and right here we have incommunicabile. It just says incommunicable. And we go to incommunicabilis. It just says the same thing, incommunicable. So now let's go to, right. So you have something called communicable diseases. What is a communicable disease? A communicable disease is one that is spread from one person to another through a variety of ways that include contact with blood and bodily fluids. So when the incommunicable name means you cannot transfer the credit of the Most High to anything else. That's what it means by incommunicable. You go to the word communicable, communicating. And directly from late Latin communicabilis, from Latin communicare, to share, divide out, communicate, impart, inform, join, unite, participate, literally to make common, communia, common, public, general. We come down here, right? Meaning capable of being imparted or transferred. All right. So the Most High's name, incommunicable, means it cannot be transferred to these stocks or these stones. All right. All right. So just a little side step right there. So let's go back to Isaiah chapter 40 and let's breeze over to here. So now let's read Isaiah 40 and 26. Lift up your eyes on high and behold who hath created these things, that bringeth out their host by number. He calleth them all by names, by the greatness of his might, for that he is strong in power, not one faileth. That's dealing with everything that you see. You know, all of the sun, moon, stars, you know, everything out there, everything has a name. Everything is set up by the Most High. Why sayest thou, O Jacob, and speakest, O Israel, my way is hid from the Lord, and my judgment is passed over my power? Hast thou not known? Hast thou not heard? That the everlasting power, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not. So if he says something, he's going to do it. If he said he's going to protect us, he's going to do it. He's not a man that he should lie. Neither is weary, but we faint. We're weary because of these bodies, these decrepit, broken down bodies. There is no searching of his understanding. He giveth power to the faint. So this is how we're going to be able to deal with it. When you deal with these so-called militant, demonic super soldiers and all hell breaking loose, the Lord is going to renew our strength. He's going to give power to the faint. And to them that have no might, he increases strength. Because that's the only way we're going to be able to withstand. Like the scriptures say in Isaiah 59, you know, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. So there's going to be some type of divine intervention that steps in to protect us at that time. It says, even the youth shall faint and be weary. So even the youth, the young men today, because of this lousy food, the lousy diet, the vibration of the earth, the vibration of these women, the vibration of these men out here. You know, everything is under a total demonic vibe. And it's contagious. And the young men shall utterly fall. Yeah. You see now, like young men, you know, in their 20s, taking, you know, pills to get their joint up. You know? Shit, when we were young, we never had no problems like that. Now today, you know, these young men having to take, you know, supplements to get their, you know, their thing up. That just goes to show the total degenerate destruction of this whole society. You know, everything is just falling apart. It says, but they that wait upon the Lord shall what? Renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. Going to be able to fly, going to be strong exceedingly because of that power. But the change has to come for all, you know, for it to be 100%. So we don't know how exactly the Lord is going to do it, but something is going to happen to where the Lord is going to give us enough stamina to get through. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. And this is a part of the reward. Salvation, and then the change, that great transformation, changing these bodies for the new bodies, you know, and just, you know, the second covenant, having the laws put into our inward parts, the stony heart removed, the fleshly heart inserted, and then we will be blessed. We will be renewed, refreshed. You know, the Bionic Man and none of them so-called comics or whatever, them are superheroes. They're gonna have nothing. See, these devils only that's how far their imagination goes. We're gonna be doing things that is gonna knock people's socks off. All of that stuff, that's based off of man's imagination. That's what the scriptures say. I have not seen, neither ear heard what the Lord hath prepared for them that love him. It's going to be on another level. What you see, the Hancocks and your Supermans and all that, that's light work compared to what's coming. Light work. So now, Zechariah 12:1. The burden of the word of the Lord for Israel, saith the Lord, which stretcheth forth the heavens and layeth the foundations of the earth and formeth the spirit of man within him. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all people round about. Why? Because the Lord is going to magnify his elect. They're shaking in their boots right now. Because they're seeing this great spiritual army of the Lord being raised up. And all we're doing is teaching. Reading the Bible. And they get nervous. So just imagine when the Lord give us power. When they shall be in the siege both against Judah and against Jerusalem. And right now we are in a siege. The world is in a siege by these demonic international banking families. It says, and in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces. This is dealing with the land, true, but it's really dealing with the people. Because they're going to get jacked up, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. In that day, saith the Lord, I will smite every horse with astonishment, and his rider with madness, and I will open mine eyes upon the house of Judah, and will smite every horse of the people with blindness. Right. So they're not going to be able to come against anything that we do. The Lord is going to cut them off. Because when I read this earlier, I thought the Lord was speaking about the horses of Judah, but no, it's talking about the people that come against Jake. They're nothing, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. You see? So there's nothing that they're going to be able to do. And the governors of Judah shall say in their heart, the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall be my strength, and the Lord of hosts their power. Why? Because the Lord is bringing back the two houses together. The house of Judah and the house of Jerusalem. The southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. The tabernacles of David. And the Lord our power, Yahweh. By Hashem Yahushai, that's going to be our power. In that day will I make the governors of Judah like an hearth of fire among the wood. And what does a hearth of fire do among the wood? It kindles in it. You know, High Priest Ariel used to get into it. It kindles. It says, and like a torch of fire in a sheaf. Right. And you can read about this also in Obadiah. How the tribes are going to get together and it's going to be a Edomite roast, man. And they shall devour all people round about. Yeah, because all people have been complicit, to use a big $50 word. They've been complicit in helping to destroy our people. So they all going to catch it. Every nation is going to catch it. They all going into captivity. Yeah, Esau's going to catch it the worst, but they're going to catch it just as bad to a certain degree. After a while, they'll be. Hey, because you got to remember, see Esau right now. He's the head of everything, so he's the one that everyone remembers all the dirt that they've done. But them other nations, they're pieces of shit too. They're not innocent. The Lord wouldn't have named them in Psalms 83 if they were innocent. They're going to get fucked up too. It says, and they shall devour all the people round about. Yep. So when the Lord put the spirit on Jake to rise up, it's over. on the right hand and on the left. And Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in her own place, even in Jerusalem. Right, because the Lord is going to give us that land back. He's going to take us back there. Ain't no flee doctrine, flee. How the fuck you going to flee from a world takeover by these devils? A world agenda. Where you going to flee to? Who you going to run to? Inside joke. Nowhere to flee. Every place on the planet Earth is going to be subject to this so-called NWO. So where are you going to run to? This is why the Lord told us to sit still. Because the Lord's coming to deliver us. Yahweh Shai is coming to get us. The Lord also shall save the tents of Judah first. Right, because Judah is the head tribe. The so-called Negroes, so-called blacks, whatever you want to call them, they are the head tribe. And no one is going to magnify themselves against them. That the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem, the rest of the tribes, do not magnify themselves against Judah, because Judah is the Most High's pleasant plant. The tribes are bad too, but the tribes can't accomplish things that Judah accomplishes. Judah revolutionized these sports. Even Larry Bird said that if God was to play basketball or come down and play basketball, it would be Michael Jordan. Amazing stunts, amazing things that are done by Judah. And that's the spirit the Lord put upon them. Now the tribes are all bad. They all have their, but Judah is the top. Bottom line. It says, in that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David. And David was a mighty man. He had spiritual power. So the feeble, the weaklings, are going to be as David. The word there is kashal, to stumble, stagger, totter, right? Stumble, totter, feeble, make weak. Going to be as David, powerful, warriors. It says, and the house of David, which is what? The elect, the ones that are of the house of David, shall be as the Most High, as God. Straight power. Spiritual power. The best way to explain it. As the angel of the Lord before them. Now one angel could get busy on this whole planet. That's why the Lord said he has called his mighty ones in the book of Isaiah 13. So the house of David is going to be as the Most High, as the angels, as a power, a force to be reckoned with. And the rest of Israel is going to be strong also, spiritual powers, but the house of David, that's going to be on another level. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all nations that come against Jerusalem. And that's the truth. Esau is going to be the only one that's going to be totally annihilated after they serve this hardcore captivity that they got to serve. After they deal with this ass whooping that's coming to them. Salaki had to say it like that because of the movie. I believe that was, I forget the name of it, with Bootsy Farnsworth. That was JJ from Good Times. And the other dude that he was fighting. Don't take this ass whooping personal. So that's what's going to happen. So the Lord's going to magnify his people. We're not always going to be destitute, broken down. It ain't going to be broken glass everywhere. All right, Philippians 3:20. For our conversation or our citizenship is in heaven, from whence also we look for what? For the Savior, the Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, who shall change our vile bodies. Do you understand what that means? These bodies are vile. They're broken down. They're miserable. Even the Apostle Paul said, O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? This is why the scriptures call it, chains of darkness. These bodies are a prison sentence in this life. It's a prison sentence. You're born, you do whatever, Some people get killed early, but eventually towards the end, it was Harlem Nights. Okay, the water, my brother. Towards the end, that's why you got to have the OGs around, because they be knowing stuff like that. Towards the end, the body breaks down. People get dementia. They all type of degenerative diseases. That's a mouthful right there. Change. The word there is metaschematizo. Damn, that's a mouthful right there. To change the figure of, to transform. Hence, the name of the lesson. The great transformation. And we looked up the word transformation in the beginning. And the word transformation is a thorough or dramatic change in form or appearance. So that's why even when Yahushua rose again, even before he was super glorified, he did what? He changed his countenance. Even before he was was crucified, he did that transfiguration to where from his body you saw two others, Moses and Elijah. So that's a great trend, to change the figure of, to transform, disguise. So it's going to be a great change. Who shall change our vile bodies? Our vile body. Let's see what the word vile body means. Vile. Excuse me. Tapinotsis. Lowness. Low estate. See? Metaphysical. Spiritual abasement, leading one to perceive and lament his moral littleness and guilt. But this is why I believe it was the elder Kazak did a lesson called, I didn't get a chance to watch it, I just saw the title, Why is Ashes Proud or something like that. Yeah, because these individuals that are proud in these bodies, they haven't perceived the spiritual abasement of these bodies, or the lowly abasement of these bodies, leading one to perceive and lament his littleness and guilt. Yeah, because these bodies are through. We're subject to sin. But yet you got individuals that are proud, lifted up with pride. Why? I don't know. All right, so let's go back. It says, who shall change our vile bodies that it may be fashioned like unto his glorious body. See, this is what we're looking for. This is why King David said, I will await until I be changed with thy likeness, according to the working whereby he is able even to subdue all things unto himself. Right, and this is what we're waiting for, that great change, which is pretty much brought out here in 1 Corinthians 15 and 50. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of the Most High. Why? Because it's corrupt. Neither doth corruption inherit incorruption. So we have to be changed. And this is the reason why when the first covenant was established, we couldn't keep it perfectly. Why? Because of these bodies. Remember, the scriptures say that there was a malignant root that was already in Adam. And the Lord gave us the understanding of that. High priest Yaquab used to bring that out all the time, that we had to learn both good and evil. So that malignant heart was already in Adam. That's why it says the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him that subjected the same in hope. You see? Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, we shall not all die, but we shall all be changed. It should be the same word. No, this one is alasso. Alasso. To change, to exchange one thing for another, to transform. Once again, going back to the word transformation. The great transformation. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, between the ending of the sixth trumpet and the beginning of the seventh trumpet. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised, because the ones that are in the grave are going to be raised first. The dead that rise out of the grave, they're going to be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. Lord's will, those of us that are still alive, when the Lord comes, will be raised up into the chariots, and at a certain point, our bodies will be changed to these new bodies, and everything is going to be, the body's going to be changed, the stony heart taken out, fleshy heart put in, the laws inserted. Once the laws are inserted, that completes the upload, the upgrade. And this is why Esau is trying to accomplish that on the earth, because they know about these scriptures. And if they didn't know before, which they did, they know now. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. Now the word incorruption means that cannot be corrupted, because corruptible means corrupt. Mortal means death. Immortal, not death. It says, so when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. Why? Because these vessels that we're in are subject to death. But when Yahushua comes back and changes us, death has no more reign over our bodies, because our bodies will be immortal, not able to die. That's going to be something, baby. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? Right. That's what the Lord said. That's another reason why the Lord said that he will wipe away all tears from our eyes. The sting of death is sin, which we are subject to in this flesh. And the strength of sin is what? The law. That's why the Apostle Paul said, I had not known, thou shalt not commit adultery unless it's in the scriptures or something along those lines. It says, but thanks be to the Most High, which giveth us the victory through our Lord Yahushua, not the law. Because the law will be put into our inward parts. We keep the law to the best of our ability, but we cannot keep it perfect. Because if you say you keep the law perfect and you offend in one, guess what? You done broke all the laws. And you made Yahushua of none effect. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, like an iron peg in a frozen tundra. Inside joke. Unmovable. Always what? Abounding, increasing in the work of the Lord. Now you notice from the beginning, just dealing with the YouTube era, July 2007, there was a sense of work. And as the years progress, more work. As the years progress, more work. As the years progress, more work. As the years progress, 3 videos a week. As the years progress, try to do a video a day. As much as you're able to do without destroying yourself. Because the finish line is within view. For as much as you know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Right, the Most High is going to give us a reward. We have a reward coming. And that reward is sure. We just got to make it to the finish line. Hobbling, dragging us, whatever, however it's going to go. We just pray the Lord to give us, the strength, the energy, the health to our bodies to be able to continue on. That's it. So with that, I pray that this lesson was comforting. And I pray that, you brothers and few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say, Shalom.